What if the greatest battles in your life weren't meant to be won with strength, strategy, or skill, but with faith? What if victory didn't come from fighting harder, but from trusting deeper? Today, we step into one of the most powerful and unforgettable stories in the Bible. The moment when walls that seemed impossible to break came crashing down. This is the story of Joshua and the Battle of Jericho. The people of Israel stood at the edge of a promise decades in the making. After years of wandering in the wilderness, after seasons of waiting, testing, and learning to trust God, they were finally entering the land God had promised to their ancestors. But the moment they stepped forward, they faced their first major obstacle, a fortified city named Jericho. Jericho wasn't just any city. It was strong, secure, and intimidating. Massive walls surrounded it, thick enough to withstand attacks, tall enough to discourage any enemy. From a human perspective, the situation looked impossible. Israel had no advanced weapons, no siege equipment, and no military advantage. And that's often how faith begins, standing in front of something that looks bigger than you. As Joshua surveyed the challenge ahead, something unexpected happened. The Lord spoke not with a military strategy, not with a battle plan that made sense, but with instructions that must have sounded strange. God told Joshua, "March around the city once a day for 6 days. Have the priests carry the Ark of the Covenant and blow trumpets made of ram's horns. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times. Then, when the trumpets sound long, have all the people shout, and the walls will fall. No ladders, no weapons, no attack, just obedience." Imagine the moment Joshua shared these instructions with the people. There were no shortcuts, no explanations, no visible evidence that this plan would work. They were being asked to trust God completely, even when the instructions didn't match human logic. And that's the heart of faith, moving forward even when the plan doesn't make sense. Day 1, the people marched, silent, steady, watching the towering walls as they walked around the city once and returned to camp. Day 2, they did the same. Day 3, day 4, day 5, no cracks in the walls, no signs of progress, no visible change. By day 6, some may have wondered, is anything happening at all? But faith isn't measured by what you see. It's measured by your willingness to keep obeying, even when nothing appears to be changing. Then came the 7th day. At sunrise, the people gathered again, but this time was different. They marched around the city once, twice, 3 times. The tension grew with every step. 4 times, 5, 6, and then the 7th march, when the priests blew a long blast on the trumpets. Joshua gave the command, "Shout, for the Lord has given you the city." In that moment, the people lifted their voices, not in fear, not in doubt, but in faith. And suddenly, the impossible happened. The walls of Jericho collapsed, not cracked, not weakened. They fell flat. What human strength could never accomplish, God did in a moment. The people went straight into the city, and Jericho was given into their hands, just as God had promised. This wasn't just a military victory. It was a spiritual lesson written in history. Jericho didn't fall because of Israel's power. It fell because of their obedience, because they trusted God's word even when the process seemed slow, unusual, and uncertain. And this story speaks directly to our lives today. Many of us are facing our own Jericho. Maybe it's a financial struggle that won't move, a relationship that feels broken beyond repair, a dream that seems blocked by obstacle after obstacle, a habit, a fear, or a situation that looks stronger than your faith. The walls in your life may feel thick, tall, unshakable, but the story of Jericho reminds us of a powerful truth. God specializes in bringing down walls that we cannot move on our own. Sometimes the hardest part isn't the obstacle. It's the waiting, the repetition, the feeling that you're doing the right thing, praying, trusting, showing up, and nothing seems to change. Day after day, step after step. But what if your breakthrough is closer than you think? What if every act of obedience, every prayer, every step of faith is part of a process you can't yet see? The people of Israel didn't see progress for 6 days, but the victory was already in motion. Faith doesn't always produce instant results, but it always produces God's results. There's another lesson. Here, God's methods won't always match our expectations. If Israel had chosen their own strategy, they might have tried to attack the walls directly and failed. Instead, God gave them a plan that required humility, patience, unity, and trust. Sometimes, God's way feels slower, simpler, even strange, but His way leads to lasting victory. The Ark of the Covenant led the march, symbolizing God's presence at the center of the battle. This reminds us that the real power in our lives is untowered effort. It is God's presence going before us. When God is at the center, even the strongest walls can't stand. And notice something else. The people had to stay silent for 6 days. No complaining, no arguing, no questioning out loud. Just quiet obedience. In our lives, negative words can weaken faith. Complaining can drain hope. Doubts spoken repeatedly can make obstacles feel even bigger. Jericho teaches us the power of disciplined faith, trusting God, not only in our actions, but in our attitude. Then came the shout. That shout wasn't based on what they saw. The walls were still standing when they shouted. Their praise came before the breakthrough. And that's a powerful principle for today. Sometimes your praise must come before your victory. When you thank God in advance, when you trust Him before the outcome, you're declaring that your faith is bigger than your fear. Another powerful part of this story is the unity of the people. Everyone marched. Everyone followed the instructions. Everyone shouted together. There is strength when God's people move in unity. Whether it's a family, a community, a church, or a team, shared faith multiplies strength. No one brought the walls down alone. Victory came when everyone trusted together. And here's something important to remember. Jericho was the first battle in the Promised Land. God showed Israel right away that their future victories would not come from their strength, but from their dependence on Him. The same is true for us. Every challenge we face is an opportunity to learn where our real strength comes from, not from our experience, not from our resources, but from our trust in God. So what does the Battle of Jericho teach us for today? It teaches us to trust God even when the plan doesn't make sense. It teaches us to stay consistent even when we don't see progress. It teaches us that obedience opens the door to miracles. It teaches us that praise is powerful even before the breakthrough. And most importantly, it reminds us that no wall is stronger than the power of God. Maybe you're in your day 3 right now. Maybe you're tired of walking around the same problem. Maybe you've been praying for a long time and wondering if anything is changing. Don't give up. Your 7th day may be closer than you think. Keep walking, keep trusting, keep believing. Because when God says the walls will fall, they will fall. And when your breakthrough comes, it won't be because of your strength, it will be because of your faith. If this story encouraged you today, remember this: whatever wall you're facing, you don't face it alone. God is with you, He goes before you, and He is already working in ways you cannot see. Thank you for watching. If this message spoke to your heart, please take a moment to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel for more powerful Bible stories and life-changing lessons. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we upload a new video. Stay encouraged, keep the faith, and remember, when God is on your side, no wall can stand.